Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Ability 411. It's Wednesday, and I'm your host, Amber Marcy. This week is our wild card week, and I have chosen to talk about what it is like to be a quadriplegic. I chose this topic because I think there's a lot of misconception when it comes to somebody being defined as a quadriplegic. Because I'm a quadriplegic, and I have use of my arms, full use, minimal use of my hands, and I think that most people wouldn't think I was a quadriplegic. They would think I was a paraplegic, meaning that only two of my limbs were affected, my lower extremities. I am a quadriplegic, meaning all four of my extremities were affected when I broke my neck. This doesn't mean that everyone that is a quadriplegic is like me or is like Christopher Reeves, who I'm sure all of you have seen or I have seen or come across or read something about at some point in your life. All quadriplegics are not that severe of an injury. There are many different levels where you break your neck or your back. Christopher Reeves was a very high break in his neck. Therefore, his breathing was impaired. His diaphragm, a lot of his upper body was affected in his accident. Whereas with me, I have a C6-7 break, which is a little bit lower, well, a substantial amount lower than somebody like Christopher Reeve. I was never on any breathing for me. I never had a trach. I never needed assistance with my breathing, which is something that is common with a quadriplegic. When I first got hurt, my breathing was cut down to about 30%, but I never needed to be on a ventilator or have something breathing for me, which I think most people think quadriplegic, you can't move anything. You have no function. You're maybe bedridden and you can't propel a wheelchair. It's a misconception. It really is, because I am considered a quadriplegic. Another word I'm going to add in there is an incomplete quadriplegic, which means that I did not completely sever my spinal cord in my accident. My spinal cord was damaged, however, it was not completely severed. It didn't cut off all communication from my brain to my lower extremities. For instance, I have movement that I shouldn't have. For example, I was at therapy today and I can take steps with a walker. I have full feeling. This is not typical of a spinal cord injury. Most people think, if somebody has a spinal cord injury, they've got no feeling, they're just stuck in a chair. And yeah, we're in a chair, but we're not stuck. Even if somebody has an injury that is a high break, they're out there in society giving it their all. I mean, they may not be able to use their arms. They may not be able to feed themselves. They may not be able to do day-to-day activities for themselves as far as, dressing and eating, but they're still out in the community. I mean, one of my best friends is a very high level quad, and he's amazing. He's out there with his own company, and he's just putting forth what he has, I shouldn't say left, but the abilities he has, he's using. And he's a quadriplegic. So the term quadriplegic sometimes is so misconstrued. It's so, you can't do anything when you're a quad. I drive. I live on my own. Yes, I have caregivers that come in. They're not here 24/7. I play rugby. I travel. I date. I take my dog for a walk. I'm not stuck in my house because I'm a quadriplegic. Do I need more assistance with things? Absolutely. I mean, I can't, you can see my hand, how it is here. It's kind of closed. My other one is the same way. I'm using that to hold the iPad right now, so I can't show you. So there's simple things I can't do. For instance, putting my earrings in. See these bad boys? Yeah, my girl helped me put those in this morning. My hair in a ponytail. Simple things like that I can't do. And I need somebody to help me do those things. But there's so much more that I can do being in a chair and being a quadriplegic. So when you hear the term quadriplegic, or my friend was in an accident and she's a quadriplegic and oh my gosh, this is just going to be awful and a disaster and she's never going to be able to do anything, you've got it all wrong. You've got it all wrong. There's so much you can do as a quadriplegic. Look what Christopher Reeves did with what little use he had of his limbs. He was amazing. And I just think it's so people just don't get it. I mean, people don't understand, and that's why I'm here to explain to you that yes, as quadriplegics, we still can do a lot of things on our own. I have friends that are quadriplegics that have no care at all, mostly men, because they don't have to do their hair, and they don't have a period. You know, that's hard to deal with when you're a girl with hands like this. They don't have to put a bra on. They don't have to do some things that girls do. I think sometimes it's harder being a girl in a chair. I don't know. Maybe you boys want to play the devil's advocate with me. Send in some messages to the Ability 411. I don't know what you might think about it. Now, on the other hand, paraplegic. Somebody who has impairments in their lower extremities. It can be torso. It's mainly your lower half. Paraplegics usually are fairly independent. They don't really have caregivers unless they need somebody to come in. If they have, some sort of medical issue, they may have a nurse come in to help them with that. But most paraplegics you're going to see are driving regular cars, transferring in and out, breaking down their wheelchair, putting it in the back. For a quadriplegic, this is a really big task. So most quads, I would say most, not all, will drive a van or a truck or something with a ramp, so we're not transferring in and it just taking so much time and wearing you out to the point where by the time you get in the car, it's like, wow, can I even drive now? So those are some of the differences between a paraplegic and a quadriplegic. I know I talked more about being a quad because sometimes I think there's just, people hear the term quadriplegic and they think, oh my gosh, this person can't do anything. And I'm here to tell you right now that I do all sorts of stuff. And I've talked about it in my past vlogs on here, and I just want you to know that just because someone's classified a quadriplegic doesn't mean that they can't do anything for themselves. Most people think I'm a paraplegic. When I tell them I'm a quad, they're like, what do you mean you're a quad? And I say, well, I don't really have any trunk muscles, and my hands don't work, but that's just the way it ended up. That's just how I am. And I'm here to talk about it. So with that, I hope that you have a little more understanding of what a quadriplegic is and what we can do. And I don't even want to say what we can't do because we can do whatever we want. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed my segment and understand a little bit more about what a quadriplegic is like. And I hope you have a great week. Thanks. We'll talk to you next Wednesday. Bye.